Um.
Well.
Um.
You get into a band like Nirvana or something and you think, you know, they don't necessarily play with precision. I don't really know how to play yet. Let's give it a try. And it just sounds fun to do it with your friends. Yeah. Just fun is the bottom line to start, I think.
For me, to be honest, deadly serious, Liam Gallagher 1996.
Really?
I swear to God, Liam Gallagher 96. Minimal talent, maximum attitude, and they were just like, fucking, do you know what, I'm doing this, see you later. And I just thought, fair dues. It didn't make me want to not play an instrument, but it just made me think, you know what I mean?
That's why you chose the
This
bass.
is me and this.
Friends of mine, I was in middle school, friends of mine had a band and they played locally in clubs, and I found out that my friend who was my age was in a band, and that blew my mind.
I'm in a wedding band, yeah. Play to people's weddings. It's a good laugh. Free bar most of the time, loads of money, free food, loads of birds in posh frocks and hats. It's good.
To be honest, I can't really remember other than Matt Booth said, do you want to come round and play some Symposium songs on our guitars? And I'd not picked up my guitar since I had classical lessons at school for about a year and learned how to play Daisy Daisy, etc. So I think it was a social thing. It was hanging out with friends and stuff. Never really expected to play a gig. And then as soon as I played a gig, I just fell in love with that, really. It's just good fun, isn't it? Kind of being in a sweaty room and shouting.
I suppose I was the right age, sort of 13, when Kurt Cobain killed himself. So obviously I wanted to be in a three-piece grunge band, which I started off playing bass. So yeah, it's because it was cool. Didn't have any friends at school. I was the only kid into bands. Yeah, that was it. I wanted to play in bands. And then I had a long gap. I'm not playing anything. And didn't start playing drums till I was 26. So yeah, it was quite late actually, genuinely being in a band.
Music was just something that I did when I was little, just the same as watching cartoons or something, and I never thought it would be something that I would ever put any serious time or effort into until it was actually happening, and then I went, oh, this is happening, and yeah.
Well, we've been in a band for about 10 years, and that fell apart, and then we needed a drummer, and you were around.
That's me. I was around.
We're like that couple that keeps breaking up and gets back together.
It's a love-hate relationship.
But this time it's gonna last, baby.
For me specifically, Marty McFly in Back to the Future, playing the guitar. That's exactly what I like to do. Watching Top of the Pops, and that, and thinking it looks like easy work.
I don't know that I even did want to be in a band when I was a kid. It wasn't until I met these guys and like, they're so cool, I want to be like them.
It's just something to do, I guess. It's a hobby. That's all it is from you, really. Yeah, it's just good fun.
Well, I just started playing guitar at school and then carried on playing with the old man and my brother, and played ever since.
Yeah, like pretty much the same. I started playing at school, like one of about 4 people in the entire school who liked a bit of rock music, so it seemed like a good idea to like learn like the guitar, and another guy learn the bass, and another guy learn the drums, and just started there really.
Well, I went to uni. Did music at uni. We used to play in like jazz and funk bands at uni just to earn a bit of pocket money. But then when I left uni, all my mates lived in Leeds, and I moved to Leeds. And these lads from Wakey, called Sebastian Fly, rang me up because they knew I played sax. Said, "Do I want to join their band?" So I joined their band for a bit. Ian from Malloy were in that band actually, called Sebastian Fly, and then played with them for a bit, and then played a gig with Lovey Nugget that Kev was in, and they needed a brass player, so I filled in for them, and then they were signed to Moonscar and did big gigs with other big ska bands, and went from there really, and then that broke up and just carried on playing in bands. Good.
I always wanted to do it. I wanted to play the guitar I asked for a guitar for Christmas when I was 7 or something. And then I suppose I wanted to be in a crappy indie band from the age of 40 onwards, and yeah, it was all I wanted to do really. Loads of all the crappy indie bands of the mid-90s were like my Beatles, and thought they were all really famous without really understanding that they weren't. And yeah, you know, typical thing of listening to John Peel every night and all that sort of thing. And yeah, I was always destined to be a failed musician, I think. I think it was in my blood.
You make your own entertainment. Like we
used to smash Lucas balls on Park with that. That's what I mean.
I'm a less hardcore than you. I mean, in Rotherham there were no gap between, you know.
There were no computers, there were no Facebook in those days.
You stuck a notice on a pinboard.
And no one read it.
Ever.
Dunno. Best gig ever.
I don't know, it's hard to pick a best one, because it doesn't necessarily mean like you played well or anything. It's all about how fun it was. The most fun gigs are usually the ones where it was just total mess, but it was really fun.
Yeah, a lot of time you have fun. Not the most fun, but the ones that are fun, there's not anyone there.
Yeah. Well, there's not anyone there loads of the time.
Oh, that's true, yeah, that's probably why.
We played once in Liverpool and it was really late. It was a Sunday all-dayer and there was like 10 bands playing and we didn't go on till midnight. But some people still stayed around, and by that time everybody that was there was kind of like worse for wear, and we were with the Slow Death, and like everybody kind of joined in, and we all played as like, you know, some kind of travelling music group, not just like us 5 guys. That was really fun. I remember that specifically.
In terms of like the biggest in terms of crowd and like how mental it was, we played Manchester Uni supporting Real Big Fish in 2001, and it was fucking packed. It was ace, and everyone was going off their head, and we were all leathered. And it was just a laugh, yeah. So that was probably the good one. We played the Astoria once, like that was scary but good, in a good way.
I play solo music, so on acoustic guitar. On that tour I was playing an electric guitar, but still solo music, singer-songwriter stuff, not thinking it's going to go over very well at a hardcore festival in the Czech Republic. And yeah, long story short, it was one of the best gigs I've ever played. It was just like this very heartwarming scene of people just really encouraging. At some point I was crowd surfing. I was just laughing at the fact that people, you know, in the Czech Republic, just in this place, you know, just laughing at the fact that this is what was happening at that moment.
Main stage on the Green Man, because I was on the main stage at the Green Man. It was like, bloody hell, how did this happen? This is amazing. I've never seen this many people in my life. And it was really lovely, and it was raining, and then we started playing, and the sun came out, and it was like, this is not really happening. So that was my favourite one. So yeah, the best one was definitely kind of when something kind of magic hits you and you think, this is where I am, and then you can take it in. And when people get involved, and if people start singing along, that's ridiculous as well. And where you think, this is the last song and I wish it wasn't, they're the best ones.
I remember driving 6 hours to Edinburgh to play with a great band called Stop the Astronaut, and I think 3 people paid in, and we all drove 6 hours back down again. That was particularly exciting, but I enjoyed the trip, so you know, sometimes they can be the best gigs in a weird way.
Great gigs will play anyway. Brackets.
anything.
No, really.
I think my personal favourite was playing Reading Festival last year, which was BBC introducing stage, and it's kind of the first time I've ever been nervous about playing. So me and Rob just got really hammered. And it's the silliest we've ever been on stage. There was loads of people watching because it was kind of like an open-fronted tent thing. It was being televised as well, and we just acted like idiots the whole way through. And at the end, Rob Rob fell over. Like last few seconds of the last song, Rob fell over and accidentally unplugged his guitar, and it's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So yeah, I think that for me is the highlight at the moment. Yeah.
My first ever gig was with one of my heroes, Kevin Seconds, and I was 15. It didn't seem very daunting at the time. I feel like if I started now, it would have been awful.
We actually got booed off by some of the more towny, if that's the right phrase, kids, which was nice. And then this other band came on and played like Paul Weller covers and stuff, and they loved it. So that was a low point. I think I feel like I can be fairly thick-skinned about people not turning up, people actively sort of abusing us and telling us to get off wasn't great. That would be worse.
The gig in Keighley where we had to drive back in a...
Yeah, but the gig was good, it was just the driving back that was terrible.
The gig was... The venue was good, the gig was good, the sound was great.
The crowd was young.
All that was good. The crowd was good, and then it started snowing, and then there were 4 people left when we played.
But we played. We played
well, though.
We did play.
People liked it.
And it took us 3 hours to go.
We definitely played.
We totally played that. Yeah.
It was with the computers, back when they were still small time, and they didn't even get changed into their outfits. That's how crap the gig was.
Well, there was so much shit, really.
It was really
everything
bad.
about it was bad, and of course we were on before them, and we had like we just started, and he came up after in the second song was like, you got 1 song left. I was like, oh, cool, thanks.
He was such a prick.
So then we just finished, and they just had to go straight on, and then we got kicked out by bouncers, and it was pouring rain, and it was fucking ridiculous.
And he ran off with like the 15 quid he made, and he had a mate putting it on with him who was like, oh, I swear I'll get the money for you.
The promoters changed the venue at the last minute to the basement of a cafe, and we turned up, and the support band was some dads, basically a group of dads who did a lot of covers, and they were horrendous. And you can see their gig on YouTube. Actually, they're called Capture, a band called Capture, playing at the Roxy 171. And I just remember, 5 people turned up to the gig as well, and I just remember just thinking it was a big joke. Like someone played a really big joke on us. And watching the YouTube videos back, Rob said to me, it's almost as funny now as it wasn't then. Just the worst gig ever. Yeah, that was definitely the worst.
Well, I think like the first one I did was like the worst one, because like we didn't know what we were doing. We were all about like 16, and the other guitarist like had this effects board or whatever, and he had tons of distortion on it, and then just left the distortion on the amp plug, so it just sounded like white noise for the entire 20 minutes.
We played at a club in Germany once in 2001 with Lubber Nugget, and like this club was fucking huge. It was like about 1,000 capacity. It was enormous, and no one was there apart from the other bands that we were playing with, who were all our mates. And then like a group of people came in, about 12 people all piled in. We were like, fucking hell, people started to come in. And then they sat down and they all got drinks. We thought, oh yeah, they're going to come and watch the bands in a minute. And then they all started doing sign language at each other, and we realised they were all deaf. That was a bit of a fucking wound, if I'm being honest.
I don't think my younger self would have listened to a word I said anyway. Kids.
Do it because you want to make music with your friends. And if you don't want to do that, don't start a band because you'll probably be a dick.
Start playing drums about 10 years earlier. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah.
Don't get too like het up about like playing massive gigs. Like just the big gigs and the good gigs will come. Just play it for the right reasons, just because you love it, and don't worry about getting recognition and stuff like that.
Although it's a bit of a cliche, don't try and please other people with music. Just do what you want. Just push yourself and do what you enjoy. It doesn't, even if you go and play a gig and there's nobody there, or it doesn't seem like anybody's particularly enjoying it, as long as you're doing something that you like, that's what counts.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah,
believe in yourself,
even if you don't really believe in what you in yourself, just do it. Yeah, because then when you look back on it in 20 years, like it's not about getting famous. It's about looking back on it and going, yeah, I'm glad that I did that music and I still like it.
I really appreciate the way I came up through music, because it's made me definitely appreciate everything that I have, and it's more humbling to go through kind of some misery and some incredible things, so you don't know what to expect, so you don't go into a thing either feeling too cocky or feeling, I guess still some self-doubt comes around, but not too much of it, I guess. But yeah, I would just tell myself, if I was going to say anything, I would just be like, stick with it. You know, a lot of good things are going to come from it. Almost 100% of your close friends are going to be made through music, and all the places you're going to visit are going to be because of music. So, you know, basically stick with it.
Practice your guitar lots, and you'll be good in a few years' time, instead of just never practicing your guitar and then never being able to play your own songs well enough. Or do covers ever, because covers are more complicated than the songs you'll go on to write.
Work harder at getting better at my instrument quicker, because I'm still shit.
Unless you're just doing it for a laugh, don't bother. Because it is a good laugh when it is, and when it's not, it's an absolute ball ache. And once it starts to get serious, it's really hard work, and there's no money in it at all. But yeah, if you want to do it and you're doing it for a laugh, then yeah, absolutely go for it. But make sure you keep it fun.
Yeah, just keep wearing the dresses.
Stick to the bongos?
Stick to the bongos, yeah. They're easy to carry. Take up the piccolo or a violin. Don't play the drums.
Hopefully start getting a wage out of it, you know, as little as much as possible, just so it can help keep my head above water while I'm doing this.
I don't think it's a good career move.
And I think if I didn't have a band, I have a lot of random thoughts that aren't particularly interesting to people, so you can't have a conversation about them, but if you put them in a song, that gives you an excuse to kind of make people listen to them. So I suppose the equivalent of that would be Twitter. So I'd have to use social networking, I think, if I wasn't in a band.
You're not talking about me, are you?
There you go.